रहूंगी. Hi everyone, welcome to the session. My name is Manisha and in today's session we are going to discuss about the infiltration, percolation, seepage, runoff and permeability. Usually these terms confuse the students, but firstly I will describe in a very simple way so that you can develop a basic understanding or about this topic, and then we will move further ahead with this topic, and the notes of this lecture are will going to be pinned in the comment section. So let's start our topic. So firstly, what is infiltration? If you are pouring a bucket of water over the surface, then after some time you can see this water starts to enter in the soil. So that entry is known as the infiltration, and this occur in case of unsaturated soil. Unsaturated soil means when the micropores are filled with water. So here infiltration it is more. So this infiltration, after this infiltration, when the soil become or the upper surface becomes saturated, this water starts to move through the soil, and through the soil movement or through the saturated soil, that is known as percolation. And if some salt or the nutrient starts to move along with that water, that is known as leaching. And permeability is just a symbol, means how easily or the ease with which water can pass in the soil, that is permeability. And seepage is just a particle to particle movement or the horizontal movement, and in Hindi we can call it risav. And this seepage you can see along the irrigation channel or along the canal area. If you fill the mud pot with water, after some time this water starts to come outside. You can see the wet surface, outward surface, you can see it starts to become wet. So that is also due to seepage. So that is seepage. Now infiltration, why this infiltration is more in case of sandy soil? So what are the various factors that can affect the infiltration? We will discuss. Let's start. So infiltration, just the entry of water. And this water movement is necessary because there is a need to enter there is a need so that this water can enter in soil or plant can use this water. So this control the water entry versus runoff. For example, if our soil is having a good infiltration capacity, like in case of sandy soil, and if the rainfall is more, means water continuously starts to move inside the soil, as compared to clay soil, which is having more number of micropores, because water can't enter at a higher speed or rapidly, and water starts to move over the surface. That is known as runoff. When the water or the soil is not getting enough time to enter, or the water is not getting enough time to enter in the soil, then runoff starts. The water just starts to move over the surface. So why this infiltration rate is more in case of sandy soil? So this is just because of the more number of macropores it has. Macropores whose size is more than 0.06 mm, and these pores are also known as water conducting pores. Water conducting pores. And in case of clay soil, which is having more number of less than 0.06 mm, those pores are also known as water retaining pores. Water retaining pores. So if the there is low infiltration, so this can lead to the water stagnation or soil erosion also, because if water is not entering in soil, definitely it starts to move over the surface, runoff will occur, and similarly erosion rate starts to increase, and poor aeration and reduced crop growth. So infiltration should be good in our soil. So this infiltration, why this is more in case of sandy? Due to macropores. For example, if you have a tea strainer in which there are big holes you have, so water or the tea can pass quickly through this tea strainer. But if you have tea strainer with the fine holes, then definitely it takes some time. So similar in case of sandy and clay. Due to the more or the macropores, water enter at a good speed. Now next is, here are various terms apart from infiltration only. First one is infiltration rate, means in how much time, how much water can enter, or at how much rate it can enter. For example, one student can study or write the 5 pages in just half an hour or in 1 hour, and other student can write only 2 pages. So that's the infiltration rate, means in 1 hour how much pages he or she is writing. Similarly, amount of water entering soil per unit time. Second one is infiltration capacity, like different person have their own capacity to eat, to study. Like there is a someone is offering food to you, but your capacity is to eat only 4 chapatis at one time. But if they are offering again, then definitely you are not going to eat because you're almost full now. So that's the capacity, or the infiltration capacity means maximum possible rate soil absorb the water when precipitation exceed the absorption ability. If the rainfall is more or the precipitation is more, but the soil, the capacity of soil is limited, it can absorb only for 6 hours or 4 hours. So this extra, or the 6 after 4 hours, the how much rainfall is occur, it's not going to let in now. Next one is infiltrability. That term was given by Hillel. So rate when water is freely available at atmospheric pressure on the surface, means how easily, for example, an hungry person can eat quickly or at good speed, but and the one person which is already full, then definitely its infiltrability, or to eat that food, the speed is definitely less as compared to the hungry person. So similar in case of soil. Next one is the factors that can affect the infiltration. First one, you can see here the infiltration rate is highest during the initial period, because of the macropores, we can say, or the soil is unsaturated initially. But after some time, this rate starts to become steady or slows down because the pores become filled, or there is clogging of pores, or the structure become deteriorated now and crusty, as in case of clay soil. So this steady condition also you can see mostly in case of clay soil, not in case of sandy soil, because sandy soil having more number of macropores. Now it become full of water, so clay can't absorb no more water now. Next one is surface condition. If your soil is loose and having porous nature, so definitely infiltration will be more. And if your soil's nature is like, if there is crust formation, so definitely water can't enter at a good speed, so infiltration rate will be less. Second factor, like soil type, as we discussed already, like sandy soil having rapid infiltration as compared to clay soil, and clay mineral like kaolinite which is of a non-expanding nature, means if you add water in that mineral, it do not expand as in case of montmorillonite, which is a fully expanding mineral. Like when you enter water, its particles starts to swell. If they are swelling, means they need more space, so the porosity starts to reduce, so water can't enter now. So in case of swelling mineral, this infiltration rate will be less and as compared to the non-swelling mineral. Second one is structure type. If your structure is spheroidal or the granular structure, means those structure which are porous, definitely they can absorb more water. Next one is the organic matter. If organic matter is more, it helps to increase the porous nature of soil, or the porosity, then also promotes the stable aggregates, no clogging of pores or no formation of crust over the surface. So that means it helps to increase the infiltration. Now if your soil is compacted, compaction, the simple meaning of compaction is just the exclusion of pore space. For example, when there is manufacturing of roads, they used to move the bulldozer or the road roller over the surface again and again. Why they are moving? Because to reduce the pore space and the road become more compacted. Similarly, if you are moving heavy machinery or tractors over the surface, soil surface again and again, then this load over the subsurface soil can compact the soil or reduce the pore space, means it can also reduce the infiltration rate, and the runoff will be more in case of compacted soil. And in case of impervious soil, like we do the puddling to reduce the water losses through the soil, so that water can stagnate and when we can do the transplanting of our paddy. So in this case, if you have if in your soil there is a heavy clay pan formation or impervious layer, definitely this will reduce the entry of water. Next one is now percolation. So percolation means through the soil profile or through the soil column when water move, or in case of saturated soil, that is percolation. Actually, I already uploaded one video related with that, the visual representation of these processes. Next one is leaching. So leaching is just when salt along with this moving water starts to move, and that is known as leaching, means process of removal of soluble component. Next one is interflow, the water intake, just movement of irrigation water from surface into and through the soil profile. And interflow is just the lateral movement in the soil, that is interflow. And overland flow or runoff, when the precipitation exceeds the evapotranspiration or the infiltration rate, means the rainfall is continue for a day and soil is or the water is not getting enough time to enter into the soil, then this water starts to move over the surface, then also leads to the erosion and the runoff.